96.3 FM, The Source.
Good morning, 26 minutes after 7 o'clock. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning in Ocala. It is April 24th, 2019. Thank you for tuning your radio to AM Ocala Live right here on WOCA The Source. We are broadcasting live from the Paddock Mall just outside the WOCA commissary, where you too can get some Chinese food. I haven't said that one in a while, Robin. Good morning, Robin. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Larry. How are you?
I'm a
Nice.
All right, let's see. I got a show to do here. 7:35. We will read the news and offer some opinions on the things we read. And got a few local things I thought I'd like to bring up that are very conversational. I don't want to say debatable necessarily, but you might want to talk about them. So
okay.
We'll do that at 7:35. Galen, you know at 8:05. I wanted to do talk to you about an interesting thing in the world. When a new building is going up, like the building in Ocala, the hotel, it's interesting how there's always mixed opinions on the design.
Yeah.
Right? There are some people who, I don't like the way that looks, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I can remember when the World Trade Center towers, the ones that are now done, they're gone, they were greatly not appreciated by many of the people in New York. Now they because of what happened, they revere them. They are beloved, but
right.
they architecturally they were not beloved by New Yorkers back in the day.
No.
The building in Tallahassee, the Capitol building, was not beloved and may still not be beloved by those people who live up there. The old Capitol building is the preferable architecture, and I can see why. I mean, the new one is just one big column, basically, right? Not a whole lot of thought to the architecture. So
exactly.
So I have a list of the, let's see, what is it called again? Landmarks that were originally hated by locals, and on this list, there are 5 baseball stadiums.
Oh, nice.
So that's why this is a subject for Galen today. So landmarks that were originally hated by locals, and including 5 baseball stadiums. 8:35 is News Bites. That's when your radio becomes the best tool you have for catching up on the news. Robin and I will read between 25 and 30 stories in 25 minutes. We don't read them fast. We just don't comment on them. That's how we're able to do it. In fact, each story is probably 45, 50 seconds, which is how we get 25 to 30 stories into that segment each day.
There you go.
Right? So it's not it's not a sound bite. It's not quick and drive by. It's kind of complete, but it is a gist of the story, not the whole story. And we'll always tell you where we're getting it from, so you can look it up and read the whole thing. Betty Lomax grew up as a daughter of a national park ranger in Washington State. She's a hiker, a skier, a backpacker. Oh man, I want to trade places with her.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Her book is called USA National Parks. This is a great book. It's the complete guide to all 59 parks in this country.
Yeah, we love it.
I want to go to all 59. In the studio with us at 9:35, C.B. Hoffman and Dan Hoffman. They're coming in to talk to us about book writing and editing. All right, we'll find out about that because it's kind of something that you and I do. Do they know that we do that?
Yes. CB was on with us before with their book, and she's coming into the studio now with her son, Dan, because they are trying to do every aspect.
Thank you. All right, we'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. A picture starting to emerge of the Easter Sunday suicide bombers.
Most of them are well educated and come from maybe middle or upper middle class.
The Sri Lankan defense minister on the attacks, which killed 359 people, left more than 500 hurt. Sri Lankan intel officials under fire for failing to act.
It is clear now the government here was warned about this on April the 11th in this report, which, at least on the face of it, had the president's name on it, and yet the president claims he didn't see it. And in response to the furore that's now erupted about these revelations, is so far only saying that he's going to change the top brass at the top of the defense and security establishment.
Dominic Waghorn with Sky News. And North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has arrived in far eastern Russia for a summit with President Vladimir Putin. This is Fox News.
Pros know getting the next job means doing this one right, on time and on budget. Lowe's is here to help by stocking the brands you trust to power through any job, like Hitachi Power Tools, soon to be known as Metabo HPT. Same tools, same warranty, new name. We also stock the quantities of the supplies you use most. Buy in bulk and get additional savings on fence pickets, posts, and concrete every day. For your next job and every job after, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. See ProDesk for details.
This is your breakfast wake-up call from Panera Bread. Don't start your day with a greasy processed breakfast. At Panera, breakfast to go no longer means to settle. Wake up with their new maple glazed bacon, scrambled egg and cheese breakfast wrap. And pair it with their new Madagascar vanilla cold brew. All made 100% clean and ready to go with rapid pickup at the push of a button. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and that means compromising isn't an option. Panera, food as it should be.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. 3 toll road projects that would greatly change traveling routes in Florida are close to being approved by the Florida Senate. Environmental groups have expressed concern about the impact of the new roadways. Among the plans is the extension of the Suncoast Parkway from the Tampa Bay area north to the Georgia state line, likely to cross through Marion County. Former Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum faces an administrative hearing today over allegations that he improperly accepted gifts from lobbyists. Legislation that would restore voting rights to convicted felons who complete their sentences, except for murderers and felony sex offenders, moved another step toward passage in the Florida House yesterday. Tampa voters elected a former police chief and openly gay woman to be their mayor. 59-year-old Jane Castor will now run that city. And MegaCon Orlando is launching its own bus service this year, providing transportation between Tampa and Orlando. And that is your news brief from The Source.
Lots of sunshine on this Wednesday, a pleasant day, but a warm one too, with a high of 82 at the coast, 88 inland. And for Wednesday night, clear to partly cloudy, low 59 in the coolest inland spots, about 65 along the coast. Thursday, sunshine mixing with clouds and very warm, high 84 along the coast, 89 inland. For Friday, more clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm with a high in the low to mid 80s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hey, I didn't know it rained last night.
Oh, it didn't. Why do you say that?
Because little Johnny's in the backyard playing in that big mud puddle.
Did you leave the hose on?
No, the neighbor borrowed it yesterday.
Wait, is that the side where the septic...
Johnny, get out of there!
Having septic problems? At Mike Scott Plumbing, we can make those septic worries disappear. We can pump your septic tank, repair your drain field, and, if needed, even install a whole new system. At Mike Scott Plumbing, we don't take crap from anyone. We take it from everyone. 237-2888. Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Do we really want to import Bernie Sanders socialism into Florida? That's exactly what 2 bills in the Florida legislature would do. These bills replace some American prescription drugs in Florida with imported drugs from foreign countries that have socialized medicine and price controls. That's risky for Florida patients. Shifting Florida's drug supply to these foreign countries would also import their socialist policies like price controls. Price controls have always resulted in shortages, and they destroy innovation. Over time, price controls will cripple new American treatments for diseases like MS and cancer. And while Americans might believe they were buying their drugs from places like Canada, Canadian socialized medicine doesn't provide enough drugs for export. This risky scheme means Florida's drugs would actually come from countries like China and India. Florida should resist socialist price controls and reject House Bill 19 and Senate Bill 1528, paid for by Americans for Tax Reform.
All right, thank you. 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. Really nice looking day out there. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to call in, the number is 622-9622. If you're out of the area, you'll need to know the area code, which is 352. Just like in your phone, it says FLA, the abbreviation for Florida, the old abbreviation.
Exactly. Pretty cool.
All right, let's see. There are some things happening in Tallahassee I thought I'd start with. First off, one that could directly affect us, some of us in Marion County. Those are the toll road projects that are being talked about. One of them is the Coastal Connector. I know you've heard about it before, and I know you were told, and I was told that there wasn't going to be a toll road connector. What do you call it? A Suncoast Connector.
Yeah.
But you know what we said with very suspicious asterisks or whatever. We were very suspicious when we heard that this wasn't going to happen, and now it looks like it's going to happen. I mean, it does. Three toll road projects that would greatly change traveling routes in the state are closer to being approved. The Florida Senate is like going to approve it today, or maybe they did it yesterday. I didn't get word that they did, but it might be. This is Senate Bill 7068, if you're looking it up. The Senate President, Bill Galvano, is very much in favor of these things going through. Do I have an opinion on this one? I don't. Well, I do. I know that we don't want our horse farms to be disrupted, and I'm hoping there's a way for the road to be built without that happening. But I do think we need a few more main roads in Florida. So I do have an opinion on this one. I think I do agree with our legislators on this. I just hope that they work with the environmental experts to make sure that it's that it's not going to disrupt the environment. That's my real thought on this.
Yeah.
Is that if you drive on I-75, I don't even drive on it that much. I drive under it.
Yeah.
And it seems like half the time one or the other direction is at a standstill or close to a standstill.
Exactly.
So and if in the next 10 years or 11 years, because they expect this to be open by December 31st, 2030, that's 11 years plus for us, right? So I say, in that much time, the state could increase in population by leaps and bounds. I think I read somewhere 50 million people more could live here by then. Does that seem possible?
Yeah, plus an increase in tourism. So we need to have the roads to keep everything fluid.
Well, just look at it right now. Right now, you have I-75 as the main interstate to take you to Orlando and to Tampa.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
It doesn't really change until you get to around the Turnpike, which then the Tampa traffic goes one way, the Orlando traffic goes the other way.
Right.
So that part, the whole stretch of I-75 in Florida anyway, is double traffic between the state line and the entrance to the Turnpike.
Exactly.
So that's one thing. And anyway, so that's just one of the two. That's just one of the roads. So the solution to that would be to take the Suncoast Parkway, which currently runs from the Tampa Bay area, which technically it's right near the airport. It goes from the airport. It's called Veterans Highway down at that end of the stretch, but
yes,
it's the same road. So you take that all the way up to Citrus County, and I think you get out somewhere around just south of Lecanto, somewhere over there. I've done it. I just can't remember what city that would be called. And they want to extend that up to the state line, to the Georgia state line.
Yeah.
Now, how they do that would be to connect for a short distance with I-75. So, and we go north through Citrus, through Marion. There's the part that a lot of locals are not so happy with because we have some very rural, open, beautiful fields in the western part of our county that might be affected by this. The Rainbow River obviously would be crossed by this, as would the Withlacoochee. No, maybe not the Rainbow, but the Withlacoochee definitely would be crossed by this. And some people say that's not a good idea. I don't know. I don't see roads going over rivers necessarily being a problem.
No,
not in the past. But homes, where people will have to have eminent domain declared in order for them to give up their homes, Those people you have to feel for. Let's just, hope they're compensated for them. They've put them, but you can't compensate for, just tradition. That's your home. You don't want to give up your home. It's a hard one. So they have to figure out a way to do it and do it right. So that they can't be bullying themselves,
No.
So I guess my opinion, if I'm going to form an opinion on this, I'm okay with the road. I think we need the road, but I think we also need to do it in a way that's not going to be bullying anybody, and definitely compensating people, working deals. So, all right, so there's that one, and there's two others. One of the other ones is kind of a no-brainer. It's a connection between the Turnpike and the Suncoast Parkway. So that same road would be connected from east to west by the Florida Turnpike. So that would have another extension. And then the third one is a toll road from Polk County to Collier County, which I'm not that up on that one, but I'm guessing that the people in those two counties are also having issues in the same way we are. So my thought is, if you have people who've dedicated their lives to the natural landscape, to wildlife, to the waterways, if you have those people involved in the conversation and you're really listening to them and not just, giving them lip service or whatever,
pacifying them.
Yeah, then I think it's, it would be a good thing to talk about it, because, hey, if we're going to have 50 million more people by the year 2030.
Yeah. Yep.
You might need to do something. All right, let's take a phone call. That's what this is about. Good morning. You're on the air. Oh.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Hey, Hugh.
Hey, we moved down here in '95, and boy, I can tell you, the traffic is really gotten to a situation where you can tell the population is increasing here. I can't believe some of the roads that were pretty quiet. Like I usually go out and do my shopping middle of the day, and no problem going here, there, or wherever. But nowadays, I almost feel like I'm in Tampa, for God's sake, in some parts of the city. It's unbelievable the amount. You could usually tell when the snowbirds would go back about this time, but it doesn't seem like it happens anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are you in favor of the roads? I'm trying to figure out.
No. I'm a light rail guy. It's going to have to be that way, especially between like here in Tampa, or Tampa and Orlando, or Orlando to Miami, or wherever. You can only build so many roads and so much. With that kind of a population increase here by whatever 2030 you were saying, they're going to have to go light rail like they do in Europe with the population there. There's no other way of getting around it.
Okay, so if you were a legislator, you would vote against the roads, is what you're saying?
Well, to some extent. I mean, like you were pointing out, 75 is, basically it's the main from Georgia coming in here.
Right.
They're going to have probably another interstate somewhere coming through. But eventually, with the 50 million more, they're going to have to get to light rail, because even that's not going to solve the problem.
That's going to be a hard sell too. All right, yeah, okay. So I'm still trying to figure out how you would vote if you were actually in office. That's the way you have to look at this, because if we're going to send letters to our legislators, then we have to know what we would do if we were in their shoes.
Yeah, well, we got to do something. So I probably would say go ahead with the roads, because you're up against the wall that way. It's I really fear. My folks, when my dad retired, he retired down in the Tampa Bay area, and that was back in the 70s, and it wasn't too bad back there near Clearwater. They were, right. And I always thought that's where I'm going to end up. But it's like Miami Beach. You can't even see the Gulf. It's all high rises, and in the traffic, it's insane. Yeah. So we were forced to come up here to Ocala area, which I love, but I can see kind of the same thing happening here in time. Where it's going to be just nothing but a traffic jam.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like what you're saying is you would say, okay, I'll vote yes on the roads, but we also need to put in the high speed rail.
Yeah, light rail, right? Exactly.
Both. Yeah. Okay.
I know traveling over in Europe, it's very successful, and it's just a beautiful thing, and it's well used, and it's inexpensive.
Okay. Thank you, Hugh. Appreciate the thoughts.
Yep. Yeah. Bye now.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds reasonable. In order to really know how you feel on this one, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the legislators. You have to say, well, what would I do if I were voting? Because you can't just say, I don't want it. or I do want it, you have to say, what would you vote for if you were one of the elected? You know what I mean? Because then you know how you would write to them. You know, dear Senator, whatever, dear House of Representatives, whoever, you know, and we're talking Florida, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah.
This is a Florida issue. This isn't a federal issue. Although, you know, the interstate is considered a federal highway. It is managed by each state. So that's why it's called an interstate. All right, that is up in Tallahassee. Here's what else is happening in Tallahassee. The Senate approved Senate Bill 7030, which aims to expand the Post-Parkland Guardian Program. If you don't know what that is, that's the bill 7030 to arm non-instructional personnel by making classroom teachers eligible to carry guns on campus. This is what they're talking about today. This is what they talked about yesterday. That's what they've been talking about. Remember, our legislators only have, 2 more weeks after this week?
Yeah, before they go on vacation.
Not much. The program would remain voluntary for school districts to enact, and participants would still need to receive specialized training. Democrats voted against expansion, arguing that expansion would increase the risk of miscalculation during school shootings. They might be right. The legislation is expected to pass the more conservative House, perhaps by the end of this week. I take issue with the word conservative actually being applicable in this case. They just throw around words like they know what they mean.
Yeah.
And people say, well, that's the side I'm on, so that's how I'm going to vote. You got to think about these things. You can't just say, well, how is my team going, and I'll just vote along, because then you don't need to be an elected official.
That's right.
If you're an elected official, you need to be a leader. You don't need to be following everybody else that has an R or a D after your name. All right? So let's think about this again. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of the people this will affect. In this case, it's not just our legislators, it's our teachers.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so let's say you teach math, right? In the 7th grade. That's your job. And you have dedicated your life to educating children. And the state says, okay, Superintendent Mayor, you can now authorize your teachers, if they want to voluntarily carry guns. Okay? Now, do you feel pressured to go take the classes and then have a gun on you? Does that not distract you from the job that you've dedicated yourself to do?
Yes, it does.
My question implies that answer, but I'm really asking it as a question. So you have to ask yourself that question. And you have to, and there is no one answer. There's as many answers as there are teachers. If you say, in my case, I would not be distracted. I'm fine carrying a gun on my side, and I wouldn't even think about it unless I absolutely needed to use it. That's one answer. But there are some teachers who would be absolutely distracted by having it, even if they volunteered to do it, to have it. They would have it on them, and it would be a distraction.
Yeah.
They would constantly be worried about it. You know that that's true in some cases. So the real tight wire here is not what's happening in Tallahassee, but what would happen at the local level if Tallahassee says, yeah, go for it. Now, there's a part of me that thinks go for it should mean that our people who have dedicated their lives to protecting us, and that would be law enforcement. It seems more their job. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some ideas on what to do. I think Dr. Mayer did the right thing. Absolutely the most brilliant thing she could have done after the Parkland shooting when she decided to institute or put into place the ALICE protocol. I can't remember what it stands for, ALICE. It stands for whatever it stands for. It caused her, all the teachers to say, oh, from now on, we lock our doors.
Yes.
And that one decision to lock the doors while class was going on, that one decision, I believe, saved the lives of some children and maybe teachers over at Forest High School a year ago. I believe that decision. I don't believe that boy accidentally, I don't believe his shotgun accidentally went off in the direction of the door.
No, I don't
I think
either.
he was trying to do what he saw on TV all of his life, If a door is locked, you shoot it open. And guess what? Those doors are stronger than he thought they would be, and it did not open.
Yeah.
Instead, one of the pellets or some of the pellets from the shotgun went under the door and hit a child in the ankle, and hopefully he's doing okay. But the good news was nobody was killed. And then to the credit of the teachers and the security officer who was on duty, who did show up when he was supposed to, he did rush to the call and put his life in danger as well. So that all worked out well. The sheriff and the superintendent of schools both need to have something in their resume that shows that they saved lives at least once in that day.
Yeah.
I'm sure the sheriff did many more times that day. But.
Sure.
All right, so there's my thought on that one. Nobody's calling in, so let's just move to the next one. You're invited to call and give me your thoughts on these things. All right, the House signed off on a measure yesterday to make texting while driving a primary offense. The current law allows motorists who text behind the wheel to be ticketed only if they've been pulled over for another offense, like speeding. So if a policeman sees me speeding and texting, he can get me for both. But if he just sees me texting, he cannot do anything. I absolutely agree with this one. I see it myself. You don't need to be a police officer to see people texting all the time.
No, I saw it this morning. This girl, she might have been in her 20s. She was in this hot little red car, and she was texting, and she was weaving in and out of traffic on 200. And it's just really, she didn't care. She's just looking down, and then she looks up, and she weaves into a different lane and looks down at her phone. It was horrible.
So, and there's so many times I'm at a light, and nobody's moving. Because it's green and nobody's moving. It's like, hello, are we not looking at the light? Of course we're not. We're looking at our phones.
Exactly.
So I have no problem with this law. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning. Another thing, I didn't hear the first part of the program because I just now got in my vehicle. But anyway, all school doors, actually home doors as well, should open out. Because a door that opens in is easy to kick. A little piece of wood sprinters away where the door lock latch where it is, and the door pops open. But a door that opens out, when you try to kick it in, you got all that wood. It goes all the way around. It's called door stop. It's about 1 inch wide and about 1/4 inch thick. It's hard to kick a door against that. So all the doors should open out.
It makes sense to me. Are there fire regulations that say the door has to open inward? I can't remember.
No, but if there's a fire, you want it to open out so you can get out.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. But those doors are pretty strong. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very strong.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. And they should be strong. I mean that should be part of our protocol also. Is that our classrooms are little fortresses. We live in a crazy time. I don't like it at all. But what are you going to do? You have to do something. I don't like going to New York, for example, and having to watch the parade with armed guards standing 10 feet away from me.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just a guy with a pistol. I mean, these guys had military gear on. These guys had, I don't know, weapons. I don't know one from another, but they look like, something you would see on a battlefield.
Yeah.
I am not making this up.
No, they were there.
And I hate seeing that. That's not the New York I grew up in, but it's become that. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. It's just well. So anyway, the world has changed. You have to. There's a lot of good people in the world, but there's enough bad people that you got to do something extreme because they're becoming extreme.
Yeah, you got to change with it.
So.
Can't live in the past.
All right, here's one they're talking about up in Tallahassee: sanctuary cities. Again, you are invited to call in. Tell me your thoughts on these things. If you disagree with me or with Robin or with both of us, sometimes Robin and I disagree. So far today we've agreed. But you were invited to disagree. We just asked that you disagree agreeably.
Yeah.
And we'll try to do the same. All right. So sanctuary cities here were talked about. The House of Representatives in Tallahassee opened debate on the House Bill 527, which would penalize so-called sanctuary cities. A sanctuary city is a city that does not cooperate with federal immigration authorities in arresting and detaining known undocumented immigrants.
Yeah.
I've never seen a list of the sanctuary cities in Florida. I've heard that we don't actually have any. I don't know. I'm not sure what the answer is to that, but they want to penalize any cities that do behave as sanctuary cities.
They should.
Sponsors argue that such cities and counties are endangering public safety, allowing violent, undocumented immigrants to perpetrate crimes. Opponents say the legislation is grounded in hate and would tear hardworking immigrant families apart. So let's think about this for a second now. So if being illegal is the result of hate, then that means the laws of the nation are what you have an issue with. If a city decides that it disagrees with the laws of the nation, then the real issue should be with the nation, not with the city. Am I making sense with that?
Yes, you are.
Because if you think about it, you have to have some rules, right? Mm-hmm. Or wrong? Do you want any rules at all? What rules do you want?
Good point.
Do you want any rules at all? Mm-hmm. Okay, and if those rules are violated, if the answer is yes, and those rules are violated, what should be the penalty? Mm-hmm. What should be the penalty? And should it be fair that a city can say, okay, you broke the rule, but come into our city and you won't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Because we won't arrest you. We won't do whatever needs to be done to meet the need of the law that causes it to be illegal in the first place.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
We have laws in this country that you may disagree with. You have to be active. You have to write letters. You have to take the same position that people took during Prohibition, when they said, "Look, you made a stupid law. You got to change it because it's just a crazy law." Mm-hmm. All right, so then they changed it back. You have to think about this. You have to say, "Well, wait a minute. Do you want laws or not? Do you want people to be able to just come into the country whenever they want without any rules?"
Yeah.
I don't think anybody says yes to that question. All right. So therefore, if you do want rules, what do you want as the penalty for breaking those rules? Mm-hmm. Hello?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's it. And if you do want a penalty, then who do you want to deliver that penalty? Should there be a law enforcement agency that takes care of that? Yes, it's called immigration. The immigration folks, I can't remember, ICE, whatever they call it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the whole argument about immigration doesn't fall on Donald Trump. Every president we've ever had has been the leader of a country that has immigration laws.
Yeah. Yep. And if you don't want to follow the rules, I don't buy that argument. Oh, they're a hardworking family, but they're here illegally. Then if they're that hardworking and they really care about their community, then they should follow the rules and apply for citizenship.
And I've said the very thing that you're saying. I've said when you have somebody who came here as a child and has been here illegally without any knowledge of his own until he got older, and he became a firefighter, and we had that story of the young man who was a firefighter, and it turned out he was illegal.
That's right.
I do think, so you and I disagree on this one, I do think that guy should be given some special, you should pay attention to what he contributed. We shouldn't have a law that takes 20 years, an immigration law that takes 20 years to become a citizen. That just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah.
That just makes no sense at all to me. So there are some arguments on the other side, but those are the things we need to be fixing. And come on, stop talking about all the stupid stuff you're talking about up in D.C. I think our state legislators are smarter than our federal legislators.
Yeah.
At least they're covering some things that are actually usable, constructive. Mm-hmm. You know, you may disagree or agree, but at least we can sink our teeth into them.
That's right.
You know, but if you're talking about tax returns, come on. What are you going to do with tax returns? You have no business looking at somebody's tax returns. The IRS, that's their business.
Yeah.
It's not my business.
Exactly.
All right, the next thing they're talking about up in Tallahassee, the Senate voted in favor of a bill to grant firefighters expanded cancer treatment benefits. The legislation is billed by supporters as an act of fairness for first responders who are often subjected to chemical-laced smoke. The Florida League of Cities has expressed concerns about the measure, warning it could force an unfunded mandate on local governments. I'm sorry.
But you had that story the other day. This woman became a firefighter, and she did everything, and she was great, and all of a sudden, she was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
He couldn't help her.
Yeah, I see what their both points are on that one. So, all right, we got to move forward. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. President Trump blasting Democrats who are asking more questions about his campaign.
Telling the Washington Post House Democrats should be satisfied with the White House's cooperation in the Mueller probe. The paper reports White House lawyers will exert executive privilege over any compelled testimony from former aides and former counsel Don McGahn.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. Sri Lanka says its president has asked for resignations of the defense secretary and national police chief after Easter bombings. This after a report that intelligence there had been warned about the suicide bombers.
Some of these names were handed to the government on April the 11th in this internal intelligence memo that specifically named some of them, and in particular named Zahran Malavi, who is a hate preacher who was well known to authorities here. He was alerted to them by the Muslim Council of Sri Lanka around a year or so ago.
Dominic Waghorn with Sky News. This is Fox News.
Pros know getting the next job means doing this one right. On time and on budget. Lowe's is here to help by stocking the brands you trust to power through any job. Like Hitachi Power Tools, soon to be known as Metabo HPT. Same tools, same warranty, new name. We also stock the quantities of the supplies you use most. Buy in bulk and get additional savings on fence pickets, posts, and concrete every day. For your next job and every job after, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. See ProDesk for details.
This is your breakfast wake-up call from Panera Bread. Don't start your day with a greasy processed breakfast. At Panera, breakfast to go no longer means to settle. Wake up with their new maple glazed bacon, scrambled egg and cheese breakfast wrap. And pair it with their new Madagascar vanilla cold brew. All made 100% clean and ready to go with rapid pickup at the push of a button. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and that means compromising isn't an option. Panera, food as it should be.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. 3 toll road projects that would greatly change traveling routes in Florida are close to being approved by the Florida Senate. Environmental groups have expressed concern about the impact of the new roadways. Among the plans is the extension of the Suncoast Parkway from the Tampa Bay area north to the Georgia state line, likely to cross through Marion County. Former Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum faces an administrative hearing today over allegations that he improperly accepted gifts from lobbyists. Legislation that would restore voting rights to convicted felons who complete their sentences, except for murderers and felony sex offenders, moved another step toward passage in the Florida House yesterday. Tampa voters elected a former police chief and openly gay woman to be their mayor. 59-year-old Jane Castor will now run that city. And MegaCon Orlando is launching its own bus service this year, providing transportation between Tampa and Orlando. And that is your news brief from The Source.
Lots of sunshine on this Wednesday. A pleasant day, but a warm one, too, with a high of 82 at the coast, 88 inland. And for Wednesday night, clear to partly cloudy, low 59 in the coolest inland spots, about 65 along the coast. Thursday, sunshine mixing with clouds and very warm, high 84 along the coast, 89 inland. For Friday, more clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm with a high in the low to mid-80s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Have you been waiting for a BOGO on roses? Well, your wait is over because at the moment, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens is overstocked on those very popular drift roses. And while supplies last, they're buy one, get one free. Yes, these are number 2 size drift roses, red, coral, and pink, priced at just $19.99. You buy one, you get one free. Double red and double pink knockout roses, well, they're just $9.99. Bob has a giant selection of flowering vines, too many to name here, but they're all buy one, get one at half price. And of course, azaleas, dwarf ever-blooming azaleas, still Ocala's favorite, just $3.99. Be sure to check the ad at bobwinescameliagardens.net. Then hurry on over to Bob's huge store on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala. They're open daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3 in the same blooming place since 1952.
Do we really want to import Bernie Sanders socialism into Florida? That's exactly what 2 bills in the Florida legislature would do. These bills replace some American prescription drugs in Florida with imported drugs from foreign countries that have socialized medicine and price controls. That's risky for Florida patients. Shifting Florida's drug supply to these foreign countries would also import their socialist policies like price controls. Price controls have always resulted in shortages, and they destroy innovation. Over time, price controls will cripple new American treatments for diseases like MS and cancer. And while Americans might believe they were buying their drugs from places like Canada, Canadian socialized medicine doesn't provide enough drugs for export. This risky scheme means Florida's drugs would actually come from countries like China and India. Florida should resist socialist price controls and reject House Bill 19 and Senate Bill 1528, paid for by Americans for Tax Reform.
All right, thank you. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to play. All right, at 5 minutes after 8 o'clock, Galen Unold is on the phone from Life South Community Blood Center. Good morning, Galen.
Hey, good morning, Larry. Robin, how are y'all?
Pretty good. I'm messing with the knobs because I'm trying to fix this whole echo thing. You have an echo right now?
No, it sounds great. Good job.
Good job.
For real?
Good job.
Okay, I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
Maybe Dan fixed something. I don't know. I wonder if that thing I did.
Or don't give Dan any credit.
Yeah, you were messing.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Okay, well, good. All right, how you doing?
Well, that was a good and well combined. I'm well. Doing well.
I have an interesting topic for you today, and I just love this one because there are 5 baseball stadiums in this list. These are landmarks that were originally hated by the locals.
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
and 5 of them are actually baseball parks. So, first of all, let's see. Was there something I wanted to ask you about any of the things in the news? I feel like there was one thing in the news I was going to get your opinion. Oh, what is your thought on the Kate Smith song at Yankee Stadium? What is your thought on that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I'm pretty familiar with it. Yeah, I mean, this is a lady that was so revered that they put a statue of her outside of the Spectrum, right, in Philadelphia, and now all of a sudden she's hated for a song she recorded over 90 years ago that may have been to create awareness for the situations that the Black Americans were in at the time. Yeah, I find it repulsive the way that we go back and we try to revise history. I mean, where does this stop? Honestly, where does it stop? Where does it stop with? We go to Jefferson, who, by all accounts, raped black women. Had children with them, and George Washington has a history of owning slaves, and not only owning slaves, but when they escaped, he would hunt them down to bring them back when they did escape. So, I mean, Martin Luther King hated gay people. I mean, there's a lot. Where does it stop? That's my question.
No, you're right. You're right. Let me ask you something about the history of the baseball teams. Didn't the Yankees have a history of only whites playing there?
Of course, yeah. All baseball.
They all did. They all
did up until Jackie Robinson.
Okay.
I mean, that's a well-documented thing. I mean, it was. Unfortunately, there's parts of our history that suck. It just does, and I don't know. And this is I asked somebody this question yesterday. How does banning the singing of "God Bless America," which is a beautiful song?
Well, it's not the singing; it's her recording.
No, by Kate, right, by Kate Smith, which is a beautiful rendition. It's phenomenal. It gives me chills every time I hear it. How does that help race relations today?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a politically correct move, but I mean, I'm not saying it's correct. I'm saying they think it's a politically correct move because the song, as you know, was part of a play and it was a satire. They were trying to show how people are being treated and it shouldn't be. They were trying to show how ridiculous it is. But for some reason nobody knows that. But the other thing is that
civil rights in her time, she was a civil rights giant. So again,
when did Jackie Robinson play?
1947.
Okay, so the Yankees were around in the 30s when she recorded that song.
Yeah.
So they were participating in something worse than she was. She was trying to. She was part of a group, I guess, that was trying to change the minds of people, and they hadn't changed their minds yet. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Again, to me, I find it, absolutely.
I'm glad we live now. I'll be honest with you. Everybody says the good old days. I don't know. I don't know that they were so good.
They weren't. Well, no. This is the greatest time to be alive. Your life is better in every single way. Every single way. I mean, look at.
Even the echo's gone.
I know, this is great.
I mean, if you think about it, everything. The poorest person in America has more access than the richest person did in 1920.
There you go. Right, and we still do compared to other countries.
Absolutely. Still the greatest country in the world.
All right, so I want to get to the topic. The landmarks that were originally hated by the locals, that's the topic. How's the blood supply today?
Again, we're right out of 4-day blood supply. We need everything. We really need platelets. So call us at 622-3544. Make an appointment. And again, just give blood. Donate blood. Save 3 lives.
I can't get that lady out of my head who needed 49 units. Was that the number, Robin?
Right. Yeah, 49.
I mean, you think about that. That's 49 people had to step up to the plate to save her life. And she.
Those are 49. Yeah.
And by the way, I was wrong. She ran a half marathon, not the whole marathon.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
That's still a good story.
It's a great story. So what was it, 7?
Oh, it's half as good now, but yeah, great.
All right. Thank you, Palm Garden of Ocala, for sponsoring Galen's daily announcement so that we can be reminded that donating blood is our duty. If we are able to get out and do it, find a bus or go down to the Life South building on Silver Springs Boulevard, or if you're in Gainesville. Where are you in Gainesville? We never talk about that.
Where am I? I'm off the Newberry Road.
No, I mean, where would
center in Newberry Road?
That's where I would go if I wanted to donate.
Yeah, we have 2 donor centers in Gainesville. One's on 13th Street, right near the college, and then the other one's on Newberry Road, just past the Oaks Mall.
All right. So if you're up there and you want to donate, we should do that one day. Just go to a different city.
That's right.
Go to a sanctuary city.
Yeah. Go up there where Alachua County is.
All right. Palm Garden of Ocala, thank you. For everybody else, just take a tour of Palm Garden and you will see for yourself. All of your questions can be answered. Robert and I watched a sweet movie yesterday about a lady with dementia and oh my gosh, it was a sweet movie. And anyway, go to Palm Garden.
What's the name of it?
What was the name of that movie? Do you remember?
The Way They Were.
The way what we had.
What we had. That's it.
It's a crazy title.
Yeah, what we had.
You guys got some
very good.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, what we had.
I've had it all my life, though. It's nothing new. Penn Flooring, thank you for sponsoring this segment. Go to Penn Flooring and see how they can make your home or office more beautiful from the floor up. Okay.
What's the movie have to do with anything, by the way? How did that pop into your brain?
Because it's about dementia. It was a lady who was having some kind of dementia. They never said Alzheimer's, so I'm just going to use the big term, dementia.
Yeah.
Because Palm Garden handles people.
Yes, they do.
Who have, I think, right?
Assisted living and dementia, yeah. Plus the skilled nursing.
Well, if they don't, then...
All right. I just missed the connection. Now it makes sense. All right, good.
All right, the Shard in London. Have you seen this building?
No.
It looks like it's 70, let's see, 1,000...
The egg? It's not the egg, is it?
No, it's the Shard. It looks like a big, pointy building, like a shard of glass that landed out of the sky or something. It's 1,016 feet tall. People still, to this day, are not that happy with the design.
Okay.
The Eiffel Tower in Paris, one of the most famous landmarks of all time, was not considered to be a very beautiful thing when it was first put up.
Well, it was a radio tower for the first section of its life. I think it was like a radio tower for like 30 years or something.
Was it? I thought it was like for the World's Fair. Oh, yeah, the 1889 World's Fair. But it was used as a radio tower?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know the World Trade Center towers were not appreciated by New Yorkers? They
Yeah, absolutely.
They thought they blocked the view. They thought they were a big eyesore. Nobody liked them. But then, of course, now we love them because of what happened, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the building in Tallahassee, the Capitol building. A lot of people in Tallahassee don't like that building.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh, here's our first baseball.
Oh, okay.
The Oakland Athletics Coliseum. Now, why don't
Still
people
don't like it.
Why don't people like that one?
Pretty ugly. It's in Alameda. When you drive in the city of Oakland, right? Oakland is always, the little stepsister of San Francisco. But when you drive through Oakland, you see it, and it's just this massive piece of concrete. It's a horrible place to watch a baseball game. It's not Tampa Bay horrible, but it's pretty bad.
I've never seen it. All right. The Vittorio Emanuele II Monument in Rome.
Oh.
Any idea what this looks like?
Mm-mm.
No clue.
Let's see. Despite the building's grandeur, many locals dislike the architecture, giving it a variety of nicknames such as false teeth, wedding cake, and the typewriter.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, now you sort of have an idea what it might look like.
Yeah.
Typewriter.
It looks like a big typewriter. The Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, Spain.
Okay.
And it's a church built in 1882. Or started in 1882. It's expected to be completed by 2026. So no wonder they don't like it.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, one brick a day. It takes a little time.
It's kind of like that building down in Orlando, the eyesore on I-4.
Oh, Channel 55.
Yeah, you know that building, Galen, on I-4?
Sure. It'll never be done.
It'll never be done.
Yeah. We contributed.
The Empire State Building was not necessarily a beloved building back in its day.
Oh, my.
I didn't know that. I know they put it up pretty quickly and during the Depression.
It was the first skyscraper, right?
No.
Oh, it was not.
No,
Okay.
No, the first skyscraper where they say was in Chicago, right?
Oh, but I mean in New York City.
I think
Chrysler, isn't the Chrysler building older than...
Nah, they went up at the same time.
Oh.
The building they consider...
Is that what it was?
The building they consider to be the first skyscraper, and this is going to be hard for you to believe, Robin, because it doesn't seem like one at all now, was the Flatiron Building.
Oh, okay.
That was considered to be the first skyscraper
That
in New
was
York.
the tallest one.
Yeah, can you believe
it?
that?
It was built first.
I mean, if you
Okay,
know the
I
city, you know
believe
that it looks like a small building now compared to the
Yeah,
rest.
but I believe it.
But if you put that in Ocala, it would be huge. It would just the tower of everything.
Yeah, dwarf everything.
Think about how much more that building is worth now than when it was built.
Which
That's
one?
an investment. The Flatiron Building.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that's worth. They're all...
That's who it is. I bet you yeah.
They're all expensive. All right, here's another baseball stadium. Minute Maid Park in Houston.
I don't know why. I thought that park's got it's a phenomenal park. It's great access. It's easy to get to. It's got a pretty cool facade on the outside.
So you
they
like
had some hokey things. They had some hokey things inside, but I always thought it was I've been there twice. I thought it was a beautiful park.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, there's another baseball park. It's the New York Yankee Stadium. It says, do not kid yourself. The new Yankee Stadium was not built because the original stadium was unsafe. The new Yankee Stadium was built for one thing, to make money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They tried really hard, but I think that's more about people just not wanting to see the old Yankee Stadium go away.
I think you're right.
Because
Yeah.
it had so much history to it.
Right.
And they built a new one to do nothing more than to make money. And they haven't won since they did it. So I'm hoping it's the curse of the stadium. Maybe the Yankees will be cursed. That's okay. I'm okay with that.
I know you are.
All right.
All right, the Centre Pompidou in Paris.
That sounds like a hairdo.
Centre Pompidou.
What that sounded like? All right.
The center was completed in 1977. It's the first collection of modern and contemporary art. Or it offered the first. Okay, why don't they like it? The design is not only unsightly, it clashes with the capital's historic architecture.
Oh, so it was more modern.
It's got
then.
probably a modern look to it, yeah.
Yeah, like a state fair look or something. With the modern buildings.
Let's see. The Valley of the Fallen in Madrid.
Oh.
Do you know
Well,
this?
what do you expect? It's in a valley of the fallen.
Why don't they like it? The site reportedly holds 40,000 bodies, But only Franco and Jose Antonio Primo de Rivera, the national chief of the Falang Española de las Johns, are buried inside the church. I don't even know what I'm reading there.
That's a lot of bodies.
Apparently it's a church, yeah.
So you got two guys that are buried inside.
The Palace of Parliament. The Palace of Parliament in Bucharest.
Oh, my.
Apparently not a beloved building. You still there, Galen? He went away?
Yeah, he went away.
I don't hear him anymore. I don't hear the.
Yeah, no, there's no lights
I
on.
don't hear the sound of him.
Yeah, there are no lights on.
Okay, the Christ the King statue in Swiebodzin, Poland. I thought they were going to say the one in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
The Christ the
There's
King.
Galen.
He went away. What happened?
I don't know. I don't know.
So the next one is the Christ the King statue in Swiebodzin, Poland. Not the one in Brazil.
Okay.
But this is considered the tallest statue of Jesus on the planet. 108 feet tall. Wow.
That's a little big.
Yeah.
108 feet tall. That's gigantic. Wow. They don't like it.
Okay.
Tropicana Field is on the list, Galen.
Should be. Outside. It looks, like it's crooked, like half of it's sunk down.
It does. You're right. Yeah, you're right. It does. But aren't they abandoning that soon?
No.
I thought
They were going to try to do something in Ybor City, and then
Right.
that fell completely through. Nobody wants it in Ybor City. So that's dead. I'll be surprised if the Rays are there in 10 years. I'll say 10 years. I'd be really surprised. They get no fan support. They won't get a stadium because the city is not willing to pay for it, which I completely respect.
Isn't this? Aren't they saying this is a turnaround year for them?
They're playing well, but the attendance is still, one of the lowest in the game. So.
All right, the number one structure that people don't like the way it looks is Citi Field for the New York Mets.
Wow.
I think whoever wrote this article is a baseball person.
I disagree. I don't think it's a bad park at all. So
maybe
I haven't been there yet. But
I haven't been there either, but I've seen pictures. But maybe what you said about Yankee Stadium, it applies to this one too.
No, nobody likes Shea. It's a heck of a lot better than Shea.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, wait a minute. If you lived there, though, maybe you just loved Shea, and that's, oh my gosh, that's my stadium. That's like Wrigley Field. Everybody loves Wrigley Field.
No, I always thought Shea was just a horrible park.
You did.
People love Wrigley Field because it's been there for over 100 years.
And Shea was there for the entire lives of most of the people who live in Queens.
Yeah, but it was built in the 60s. I mean, it doesn't go that far back.
No, I know, but the people who live there, they've always known. I don't know. I'm just trying to take a guess at why they wouldn't like it.
No, Shea was horrible.
For you. But this is talking about how the locals feel about it.
Yeah, nobody likes Shea. I mean.
Well, apparently this guy did.
Ask your buddy, Macaulay. What's his name?
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy. Yeah, ask Jimmy.
I'm trying to see on here if it says anything. It says, in terms of baseball appeal and dimension, Citi Field is enclosed and looks crammed compared to the wide open spaces that Shea Stadium offers. So this guy likes Shea better.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's what they're going back to, is that intimate setting, more like Fenway Park and more like Wrigley Field.
Seating dropped from 56,000 to 42,000 when they built the new one.
Yeah, that's part of what they're trying to do. Yeah.
Wow.
So, Shea's outfield was symmetrical,
which people don't like anymore.
So, well, there you go. That's his reasons. I think whoever wrote this article preferred is a baseball fan. They just threw in some of the other ones.
Guess so.
And if he's got two New York stadiums on there, then he's probably a New Yorker. And I can't believe he left out the World Trade Center, except he probably feels like it's sacrilegious or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't say that. And you know what? He would get killed, and rightfully so. Really? I mean, I think that's it.
Oh, I'm telling you the truth, though. When those buildings first went up, I heard it all the time. from people who live there. Now they love him. I loved him because I like going to the observation decks of places.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's cool because you can see so much.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really nice.
Again, when I was younger, I worked at the Nassau Coliseum, and the ice show was there. What was it called? America on Ice or something?
Holiday on Ice.
Holiday on Ice. And so I was a young guy. These were young girls, and so we were hanging out with some of the girls. And so I said to one of them, "Hey, you want to go into the city? I'll show you the best place ever to see from a high vantage point." And she didn't want to go at all, Galen. She said, "I've seen the best place." She said it's in the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, there you
go. Okay. But this is the best one on a building. She didn't want to go with me, Galen. I didn't. A swing and a miss, Galen.
See that? She wasn't sure.
Love it.
I don't know this New York kid. I'm not going anywhere with him. All right. How's the? Where's the Bloodmobile today?
Hey, how is the Bloodmobile? What? Where's the Bloodmobile?
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Bloodmobile. Today, Larry, we're actually at Closet Made, so can't wait. Such a good drive. It's one of the first drives we ever had in the city of Ocala, and it's our longest drive that we've got in the city of Ocala. So we love going back there. And then we're also at the Walmart on Wedgwood Road. So please come by and see us and give the gift of life and donate blood.
And just think of that lady. She was hit by a truck. Hit by a truck, 7 months before the Boston Marathon, I think?
Yes, yeah, 7 months.
And like Galen said, she must have been in good shape. She probably was.
Mm-hmm.
They thought she was dead. Everything looked. It took 49 pints or units of blood to save her life.
Yeah, 49 red cells.
Wow, wow, that's
That
a lot.
is amazing.
And then she ended up doing a half marathon, and I think she did it with a walker. By the way, I think I did see a picture of her with a walker. So, can you imagine going? What would that be? 13 miles, right?
I think so.
Can you imagine walking 13 miles with a walker? Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Well, she's something.
Wow.
All right, be careful out there, Galen. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys are the best.
All right,
bye, y'all.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
This is Will.
And this is Wendy of Dex Imaging in Gainesville and Ocala. You know, we live and work in this community just like you, and we wanted to personally invite you to call us with any questions or concerns about your copiers or printers.
Like, how can I save money on my toner? That stuff's expensive.
In most cases, a complimentary workflow analysis has shown we can save your business 20 to 30% on printing cost.
Have you been kicking around the idea of going paperless? Are you considering a document management solution? Maybe you just want to ask some questions, but don't want to be bombarded by aggressive salespeople.
Give us a call. We'll be happy to answer your questions and show you how you can save money with our award-winning copiers and printers and our amazing service team.
Who, in case you didn't know, will be there in 4 hours or less to service your machine guaranteed, and we have a 97% first-time fix rate. Check us out at deximaging.com or give us a call.
In Ocala, dial 352-433-4090. That's 433-4090.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Friends, countrymen, tourists, and Ocalans, lend me your ears. Hey, speaking of ears, there is an opportunity for you to help feed and provide good maintenance, housing, and medical care for Marion County's rescued big cats, bears, monkeys, and other disabled or unreleasable wild and exotic animals. Take a tour on Wednesdays or Saturdays of the Endangered Animal Rescue Sanctuary. Adults $20, children 12 and under just $12. Call 352-266-2859 for any questions.
FAFO presents Symphony Under the Stars May 12th at the Ocala Golf Club, East Silver Springs Boulevard. Gates open at 4 p.m. Concert starts at 7. Advanced VIP tickets available online only. Regular adult tickets $20, $25 at the gate. Children 17 and under free. Bring food, beer, and wine or buy from our vendors. FAFO has everything you need. Visit www.fafo.org. Enjoy the Symphony Orchestra and fireworks under the stars. It's fun for all.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
About your retirement savings.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. President Trump blasting Democrats who are asking more questions about his campaign.
Telling the Washington Post, House Democrats should be satisfied with the White House's cooperation in the Mueller probe. The paper reports White House lawyers will exert executive privilege over any compelled testimony from former aides and former counsel Don McGahn.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. Sri Lanka says its president has asked for resignations of the defense secretary and national police chief after Easter bombings. This after a report that intelligence there had been warned about the suicide bombers.
Some of these names were handed to the government on April the 11th in this internal intelligence memo that specifically names some of them, and in particular named Zahran Malavi, who is a hate preacher who was well known to authorities here. He was alerted to them by the Muslim Council of Sri Lanka around a year or so ago.
Dominic Wagburn with Sky News. This is Fox News.
Pros know getting the next job means doing this one right. On time and on budget. Lowe's is here to help by stocking the brands you trust to power through any job. Like Hitachi Power Tools, soon to be known as Metabo HPT. Same tools, same warranty, new name. We also stock the quantities of the supplies you use most. Buy in bulk and get additional savings on fence pickets, posts, and concrete every day. For your next job and every job after, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. See ProDesk for details.
This is your breakfast wake-up call from Panera Bread. Don't start your day with a greasy processed breakfast. At Panera, breakfast to go no longer means to settle. Wake up with their new maple glazed bacon, scrambled egg and cheese breakfast wrap. And pair it with their new Madagascar vanilla cold brew. All made 100% clean and ready to go with rapid pickup at the push of a button. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and that means compromising isn't an option. Panera, food as it should be.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. 3 toll road projects that would greatly change traveling routes in Florida are close to being approved by the Florida Senate. Environmental groups have expressed concern about the impact of the new roadways. Among the plans is the extension of the Suncoast Parkway from the Tampa Bay area north to the Georgia state line, likely to cross through Marion County. Former Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum faces an administrative hearing today over allegations that he improperly accepted gifts from lobbyists. Legislation that would restore voting rights to convicted felons who complete their sentences, except for murderers and felony sex offenders, moved another step toward passage in the Florida House yesterday. Tampa voters elected a former police chief and openly gay woman to be their mayor. 59-year-old Jane Castor will now run that city. And MegaCon Orlando is launching its own bus service this year, providing transportation between Tampa and Orlando. And that is your news brief from The Source.
Lots of sunshine on this Wednesday. A pleasant day, but a warm one, too, with a high of 82 at the coast, 88 inland. And for Wednesday night, clear to partly cloudy, low 59 in the coolest inland spots, about 65 along the coast. Thursday, sunshine mixing with clouds and very warm, high 84 along the coast, 89 inland. For Friday, more clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm with a high in the low to mid-80s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your Verizon representative with news that will hum your car, make it smart and safe. How? With the new Hum device by Verizon. You can rest assured you're never alone. Flat tire? Lost? Accident? For $10 a month, Hum by Verizon has you covered. And I will come to you in Marion County to install the Hum for free. Time to call me at 352-528-0020. Are you ready to hum along? Call 352-528-0020.
Have you been waiting for a BOGO on roses? Well, your wait is over because at the moment, Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens is overstocked on those very popular drift roses. And while supplies last, they're buy one, get one free. Yes, these are number 2 size drift roses, red, coral, and pink, priced at just $19.99. You buy one, you get one free. Double red and double pink knockout roses, well, they're just $9.99. Bob has a giant selection of flowering vines, too many to name here, but they're all buy one, get one at half price. And of course, azaleas, dwarf ever-blooming azaleas, still Ocala's favorite, just $3.99. Be sure to check the ad at bobwinescamelliagardens.net. Then hurry on over to Bob's huge store on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala. They're open daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Do we really want to import Bernie Sanders socialism into Florida? That's exactly what two bills in the Florida legislature would do. These bills replace some American prescription drugs in Florida with imported drugs from foreign countries that have socialized medicine and price controls. That's risky for Florida patients. Shifting Florida's drug supply to these foreign countries would also import their socialist policies like price controls. Price controls have always resulted in shortages, and they destroy innovation. Over time, price controls will cripple new American treatments for diseases like MS and cancer. And while Americans might believe they were buying their drugs from places like Canada, Canadian socialized medicine doesn't provide enough drugs for export. This risky scheme means Florida's drugs would actually come from countries like China and India. Florida should resist socialist price controls and reject House Bill 19 and Senate Bill 1528, paid for by Americans for Tax Reform.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studio.